What's happening, everybody? You already know what it is. Your boy Narco, your boy 94, Luke, back here again for part 4 and final finale of our Disney series. And Kyrin, we were going to cover the revival era and talk about some of the current eras that's going on now today, things we want to see, and yada yada yada, stuff like that. So this video will probably be a little shorter than the other ones. So I'll let Kyrin go ahead and introduce himself, and then we'll hop into the revival era and talk about some of the importance for this era.
It's your boy Kyrin Chase, and I'm ready, just like Malik, to get this series over with.
All right, so revival age era lasts from 2008 to 2017. Excuse me. Started with the movie Bolt, and some people, include Bolt in the last era of the post-Renaissance era, but we include it in this era, in the part of the revival era, because it was kind of a start to new things. So Bolt, This is the Frog, Tango the Wreck-It Ralph, Winnie the Pooh, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and Moana were the movies from this era. So you got your budgets and everything you want to cover real quick?
Yeah. First off, Bolt, which I honestly thought was a Pixar movie at first. I didn't even know this was an actual Disney movie. Budget was $150 million. The box office $310 million. Princess and the Frog, budget $105 million. Box office between $267 million and $271 million. Tangled, budget $260 million. Box office $592.4 million.
It was worth it.
Winnie the Pooh, $30 million is the budget, and box office $50.1 million. Wreck-It Ralph, budget $165 million, box office $471.2 million. Frozen, budget $150 million, box office $1.28 billion. Big Hero 6, a budget $165 million, and box office $657.8 million. Zootopia, $150 million, box office $1.24 billion.
I hit $1 billion too?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Moana, budget $150 to $175 million, box office $690.8 million, and yeah, that's all of them.
We got $2 billion in that era, so. So a big thing we got to talk about, we kind of touched on the last video, but Disney officially bought Pixar, for $7.6 billion. The reason we talked about maybe the last era to do so was because they were competing with Pixar and DreamWorks and all the movies. They had a lot of big hits in the early 2000s. So purchasing Pixar in 2006, what do you think that kind of did for them as far as, looking up, maybe, okay, you know what, now we got Pixar, so now we can maybe start getting more hits for movies?
Well, for one, it really helped because it helped them. They had to go against Pixar, even though they kind of did partner with Pixar and they did own some parts of it. Now, fully owning Pixar, it helps them because they can make more movies. And I know I'm not going to touch on it, but for example, Toy Story 3 made a hell of a lot of money, and so the other movies. But also, I think it helped with that 3D animation because I touched on Chicken Little. Another reason I didn't like the movies because I didn't like how it looked, and I think with Pixar's joining on, it helped tighten that 3D animation, and that 3D animation looks amazing now.
So let's see. Let's touch on they brought back 4 princess movies in this era too, which we talked about how they had the split eras of how all the Disney princess movies do very well. The Golden Age era had Snow White had 1, but it did very well and it was very successful because of that movie. The Silver Age era had Disney princess movies, had 2 of them. The Renaissance era had 4 of them. This one had 4 of them as well. So, talk about the importance of the Disney princess movies, because it seemed like those are the ones that really people gravitate to the most. Why do you think that is?
I think maybe because people can see themselves in some of the princesses, and also when done right, they're actually very interesting characters, and most of the time they're likable, and when animated well, they look very beautiful as well. And I just think, with the first ever Disney film being a fairy tale princess film, it's always a way for Disney to go back to its roots.
I think it's relatable too for a lot of kids, a lot of the younger women, what I'm saying, like teenagers and kids who are like in elementary school, because they can dress up for them as Halloween and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they can gravitate towards too. That's the reason why I think Frozen was such a big hit, because you had 2 princesses that you can gravitate towards it. Maybe, and they had all types of stuff with toys and all types of everything come out. But the Disney movies nowadays, the reason why a lot of successful too is because now you have toys that are that you can go buy from them. You got the DVDs, you have stuffed animals, you have all types of stuff. You can have now like where you can get like posters on your wall, and all types of stuff. So that's a big part of the reason why they also make a lot of money because of stuff like that. So obviously, so we say getting Pixar was a huge effort too, but they also did a lot of storytelling in this era. They kind of switched it up. Obviously, added the princesses, but they also, did some different stuff. Wreck-It Ralph was new, never seen anything like that. Hero 6 was different. Princess and the Frog was you kind of heard stories about that, but never been a movie. Haven't really. What was different? You got a superhero dog. Frozen was different. So all these movies, Moana was kind of like Lilo and Stitch a little bit. But, it kind of had the Hawaiian culture to it. It was different. Utopia was different too. So all these movies had different story aspects to it. So I think it's a reason why also was very successful in this era.
Yeah, of course. As you know, I have some facts for each movie, of course. You want me to go through them?
Yeah, let's start with both. Go ahead and start from the list up.
Yeah, it wasn't as easy to find facts for each movie as it was the last few videos, but I found some things. First off, with Bolt, the look of the film was inspired by the paintings of Edward Hopper and cinematography by, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Vilmos Zsigmond. I apologize for pronouncing that wrong. And a new technology in non-photorealistic render, NPR, which used to give it a special visual appearance, a technique that they used in Tangled, and it was to give the film's 3D backgrounds a hand-painted look. And the company artists used new painted technology designed specifically for the movie, which is why the animation looks, like I said, looks different from Chicken Little in general. Princess and the Frog, of course, I was the first Black Disney princess. It was Disney's most successful animated film since Tarzan. It received 3 Oscar nominations at the 82nd Academy Awards, 1 for Best Animated Feature, and 2 for its achievement in music. It lost to Up and Crazy Heart. And
she would be the second Black princess, right? Because wasn't Jasmine princess too?
Jasmine wasn't Black. I think Jasmine counts more as like Arabic.
Oh, I thought she was Black. I thought she was Black.
No, I don't think she counts as Black. And they originally wanted to make, and starting with this movie, they originally wanted to make a drawn 2D hand-drawn 2D animated movie every 2 years, with Winnie the Pooh coming out 2 years after this, and the Snow Queen, which was of course going to be Frozen in 2013. But I'll touch on that with Frozen in a second. Tangled. Before the film's release, it was originally just called Rapunzel, but they changed it so they can get like more guys to watch it. They originally wanted to have like a Shrek appeal, like kind of how Shrek was, but since the craze of Shrek was starting to die down by this point, I think they changed that and went to a different direction. Also, the last Shrek movie came out in the same year. Tangled spent 6 years in production at a cost that, like I said, $260 million. And if that's accurate, it's the most expensive animated movie of all time. And thank goodness they made that money back. But yeah, they spent more money on this movie than any other movie to make. And the film employed a unique artistic style by blending together features of computer-generated imagery, CGI, and traditional animation, but also using non-photo the NPR again to create the impression of painting. Also, composer Alan Menken, who I brought up last time, who made some of my favorite Disney songs from the Renaissance, returned for this film. The movie was nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song for the song I See the Light, but lost to Toy Story 3 and Burlesque. And also received 2 nominations for Broadcast Film Critics Association in some categories, but once again lost to Toy Story 3 and 127 Hours, as well as nominations for 2 Annie Awards and for Best Animated Feature Film for writing in a feature production. Winnie the Pooh is the last major Disney film to be in traditional 2D animation. And the way Princess and the Frog didn't make the money they were hoping, I don't think they're gonna go back to 2D animation for any major films anytime soon. And it was the first. You said what?
I said I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah. I mean, I love how 2D animation looks, but 3D animation just makes more money. And this is the first Disney film for songwriters Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, who were of course going to make the songs for Frozen. So obviously I hold them in high regard. Wreck-It Ralph won the Annie Award for Best Animated Feature, as well as receiving nominations for Golden Globe and Academy Award for best animated feature. And I feel like Wreck-It Ralph is a really underrated movie. I haven't seen the sequel yet, but I really loved Wreck-It Ralph when it first came out. And I have a whole lot to say about Frozen. It was originally going to be 2D, like I said, it was originally going to be 2D animated, but it was switched to CGI due to the complex visual elements. And Walt Disney wanted to adapt the book The Snow Queen into a film as far back as the 30s and the 40s. But of course, but due to how dark the book and complex the book was, especially the Snow Queen herself, it was shelved. Which is funny considering the fact how dark Disney movies can get, especially when Walt was working on them. In the late 90s, the animation studio was starting to develop another adaptation for it, but especially after the success of the Renaissance, but the project was scrapped again. Elsa was originally going to be the villain of the movie, but after hearing this all Let It Go, they felt it didn't fit a villain and her character was changed. And the filmmakers, and this is one thing I knew about from when I first watched the movie, the filmmakers went out and actually played in snow to get a feel for how to animate snow correctly. Because if you watch how they animate snow in the film, the snow looks really nice because they actually animated the snow because they went and played it to get a feel for it. And Frozen won 2 Academy Awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song, Let It Go. The Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature. 5 the BAFTA Award for Best Animated Feature. 5 Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature. 2 Grammy Awards for Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media. And Best Song Written for Visual Media, once again, Let It Go. And 2 Critics' Choice Movie Awards for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song, once again, Let It Go. And of course, it was before Lion King 2019 last year. It was the highest grossing animated movie of all time. Big Hero 6. Once again, it was actually the highest grossing animated film of. It was the highest grossing animated film of 2014. Just that Frozen was the highest grossing movie in general in 2013, and it won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. And it also receives nominations for Annie Award for Best Animated Feature, the Golden Globe Award, and for Best Animated Feature, and the BAFTA Award for Best Animated Feature. And I believe you said this. You told me this. It actually has like the highest audience approval of any.
Yeah, it has the highest audience rated film of all time,
which is pretty impressive. Zootopia, which once again I didn't know it made $1 billion. That's something I didn't know. It was named one of the top 10 best films of the year by the American Film Institute. It received an Academy Award, Golden Globe, and Annie Award for Best Animated Feature Film. And it received a nomination for the BAFTA Award for Best Animated Feature Film, but lost to Kubo and the Two Strings. It's Disney's most recent work on animating fur, and as they did in Bolt. So some of the techniques they used for Bolt they used here, but they weren't good at animating fur realistically. So the studio's IT engineers developed the fur controlling software iGroom, which gave character designers precise control over the brushing, shaping, and shading of fur, and made it possible to create a variety of eccentric character styles for each animal. And finally, Moana. Along with Zootopia, it was the first time since 2002 that Disney released 2 major films that same year, and it received 2 Academy Award nominations at the 89th Academy Awards, one for Best Animated Feature and the other one for Best Original Song for How Far I Go, and that's one thing I do say about these films. I know we're going to probably touch on it, but I like at least 1 or 2 songs from each movie that had songs in this era.
They had a lot of good songs from this era as far as movie wise. Obviously, Frozen had the biggest impact. Let It Go. That was probably definitely the biggest song of the era. Moana had a lot of good songs, and that featured in there. Zootopia had some good songs in there. Tingle had some good songs as well. Princess and the Frog. So they had some pretty good songs. I would say this is probably the best soundtrack since Renaissance era. The Renaissance era still has the best soundtrack to me.
I don't think, yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Obviously, the Renaissance still has probably the best music, but I'd say this and Silver go head to head for number 2.
I would say I got to put the Renaissance at number 1 just because it had literally like every movie that came out of that era was literally a hit.
Yeah,
I mean, every movie from the beginning to the end was literally a big hit in that era. So I got to say Renaissance number 1. As far as Silver, Renaissance, and Revival are the best eras, out of all the Disneys. But it's really going to be hard for any era to top that Renaissance era, just because like every movie that came out, every other year was a hit, another hit, then another hit, then another hit. It was like it was rare that you see that stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's rare that you see something like that. You see hit after hit. So I mean, like these, like Bolt wasn't like started off all right, but it was decent. This and the Frog didn't do as well as everybody wanted. Tangled did very well, but then you have Winnie the Pooh. I didn't even see Winnie the Pooh. I never even seen that movie. Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen did very well. Big Hero 6 did very well. Zootopia did very well. And Moana didn't do as well as those movies, but they did good. So there were some movies that kind of downplayed and hurt this era just a little bit. Just very by hair, but it was a pretty successful era though, as far as everything else, as far as music wise, as far as Academy Awards, as far as success for movies. I think they pretty much did very well in this era.
Yeah, me too. And like I said, I think it was an important step. It because it showed how Disney could make great 3D animated films, and it just shows how successful these films like Disney can be. I mean, literally, but like I said, for Lion King 2019 came out last year, and I kind of think that's kind of a cheat, because they didn't want it to be animated, but it counts as animated. Frozen was the highest grossing, not just Disney, but highest grossing animated movie ever. And take into account that's a princess movie, and a princess movie made that type of money. And I don't know if Disney knew Frozen was going to be a hit. It was, but it ended up being the biggest hit they had.
Yeah, I mean, I think they all have expectations. But I don't know if they thought maybe it was going to do as well as it did. And I mean, $1 billion, first movie to make $1 billion for Disney. So I mean, another thing we got to talk about that also came out in this era was Disney live action remake movies. They started with The Jungle Book in 2016, and then we had others come out later: Lion King, Aladdin, some of the other ones, Beauty and the Beast. But how did you feel when something like that was first announced? I remember when I first seen the trailer for The Jungle Book. That was the first one. The one I was okay with is because books. I was like, okay, that could be cool. But I was like, some people, I can see why some people might find it cheesy because animals talk. Animals don't really talk in real life, and you have one human in the movie. So I can understand how some people may not gravitate towards that as more. But success wise, you can't argue with it because they're making a lot of money off that Disney remake. Because of course people are gonna go see it when it's the popular ones. Of course people are gonna go see The Lion King when it came out because it's The Lion King. If they make it Frozen, people are gonna go see Frozen because it's live action. So of course people are gonna go see that. So I mean, it's live action stuff. So it's cool. I don't mind it. I just some things that bother me about the movie that some things don't feel like they should make the movie. I feel like it has to, it's kind of got to be similar to the cartoon a little bit. You got to have some similarities to it, but you got to have, some scenes that are very similar. Especially the important ones that stand out. You got to have the important music. If the movie does have music in it, have the important music in it. Some of the movies they change up the music and everything to the thing, which was isn't bad, but it's just like you expect to hear the real thing. I mean,
I think. Well, first off, technically the one that really started was Alice in Wonderland. But the one that really started the trend that we had like each a year was, Jungle Book. I'm not gonna say I hate the Disney live action remakes, but I'm not the biggest fan. The only one I really, really liked was Aladdin. Aladdin 2019. Lion King 2019, even though I agree with everyone who hated it, and they have reasons for it, because I just can't bring myself to hate the film. Even though I do agree with the criticism people have on it. I didn't like the live action Beauty and the Beast either. I didn't really like that one. But yeah, I do agree. Like, you gotta bring certain moments and songs back because they're just too good. Like, that's my biggest problem when they announced that the Mulan remake was not gonna have any music. Like, how can you do a Mulan remake without doing "I'll Make a Man Out of You"? That's like doing the Aladdin remake and not doing A Whole New World. I think the problem with doing these remakes, and I wish they would try to find a new way to tell them while staying close to the source material. Like prime example, Aladdin. Instead of having a CGI genie and things like that, you saw at the very end of the movie they had the little dance party. Why not try to tell the whole story like it's a crazy Bollywood musical? That would have been a nice, different take on it. But when you just instantly do the same movie again, it's like, why watch this and I could just watch the animated version, which is perfect already.
Yeah, they've also done other stuff, like they've done Maleficent. There's a movie about her. They've done Tarzan movie, a couple of Tarzan movies and everything like that. It doesn't have Disney on it, but they've done, Tarzan, all types of movies. So if they did make a Disney live action, which one would you think would you want to see that would catch your attention? And like, I would go see that.
I mean, I don't know. After they remade all the big Renaissance movies, the only remake they can really do left is probably a Frozen remake. You know they're gonna do it. they're gonna do a Frozen remake eventually because that animated movie doesn't make that type of money. You think they're not gonna do a remake? But personally, I wish Disney would step away from the remakes for a little while and like start making some new movies. Like, yeah, making the remakes are cool and everything, but it's I mean, why not start trying to bring up something new and original? That's what I'd rather Disney work on than doing more remakes.
I agree with that. You know what I mean? But I mean, I can't sit up and say they're wrong for that because they're gonna make a shitload of money. That's what they all in there for. It's what all about is making money. So of course, you know, people are gonna go see the live action remakes, even if it's good or bad. People are gonna still go see Mulan, even though they may not have music in it.
I'm not gonna see it.
It's Mulan. So
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wasn't planning on seeing the Mulan remake anyway. But here's the thing I always say: it's like, and it felt like at times they kind of half-assing it with these movies. Like, there's something they could tighten up or do better. They just don't do because why do it? And you just think, and I always think, remember back in the 30s, Walt put his whole studio on the line to bring Snow White. They couldn't afford to half-ass that. But with the live action, they just kept doing it halfway. Like, for example, Lion King remake. I brought this up plenty of times. Making the animals so realistic, it hurts the emotional moments because the animals can't emote. And they kind of got that right with the Jungle Book movie. It didn't look like that then, but it looks like that now. That's a problem. I just feel like if you're gonna do these remakes, why don't you find a new way to tell them or put more effort into them?
Yeah, I just think, you know, they try to do the best with the remakes. It's just I think the reason they kind of make it, not thinking about it, the reason they make it a little so different because they don't want people to compare it to the cartoon version. It's for hard people are gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean, it's just hard for people not to. Which I understand, you know, of that concept because when you saw, you know, Jungle Book or whatever, like, you know, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I can't compare it to the cartoon because it's probably not going to be anything like the cartoon. But after you watch it, you know, it kind of makes you wish it was kind of like the cartoon. I don't know how people would feel if it was like the cartoon because if it was just like the cartoon, maybe feel like they're seeing the same exact movie just in live action. So it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So I think that's why they kind of make little things different. And I get it. It can make the movie stand out. I just think you gotta. I don't mind them making it different. I just think you gotta keep the importance in it. Like I didn't like how they did that. I understand why they plugged out prepared for Scar and Lion King. I understand why, but it was like you gotta have that. You have to have that in there because that was a huge moment in the movie.
Yeah, that was one of the things about Lion King remake I wasn't happy about, especially because "Be Prepared" was my favorite song from the original. And then there are sometimes they add scenes that don't make sense, but sometimes they do. Like one scene they added in the Lion King remake, which I really liked, was showing how Nala left Pride Rock because I felt like that was like in the movie. It was not gonna say it was a plot hole, but like how did she leave knowing Scar had hyenas as his guards? And the remake showed it. I actually did kind of I like that.
I thought that was cool. I liked how they kind of showed the scenes like, you know, when, you know, he was eating and then let the hyenas eat afterwards, and then, you know, had the lions eat last. You know, showing the power that he had. You know, like the power that I have over you guys.
Yeah, scenes like that. The scenes like that, I'm happy you added. Like and like those are the type of scenes I'm fine with adding because it helps. If you know the films are going to be longer, add scenes to help the characters. You know, but there's times you can do more with it too.
I agree. I mean, there are times you definitely do more with it. I mean, like I agree with kind of the emotion parts of it too. I mean, but like, because the only person that really benefited was Scar because he ain't supposed to show emotion, and he's evil. He's not supposed to have any type of emotion to him. So everybody else was kind of this, you know. So at the end of this, the voice actors didn't really fit for me either. For some of those voice actors didn't fit the role. I'm not saying, you know, they're bad actors or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? I think the reason why, and the same with the Jungle Book too, it just didn't feel right. I think the reason why Aladdin was so good is because it's all people. So you can see the people talk, you hear people talk, and they all play good roles. Because even though, like, I got to give credit, you know, to Will Smith. You know, even though Robin Williams is the original genie, he's legendary. Yeah. He's no longer with us. Will Smith played a hell of a genie in that movie. Incredible. He did incredible in the movie. That might be one of his best performances he's ever had in any movie he ever done.
Yeah, and Will Smith said himself, you know, I couldn't top Robin Williams because it was perfect. He did perfect already. I can't top what's perfect. But what Will Smith did, he took and he did the genie his own way. And he's not trying to be Robin Williams. And I said, okay, that's genius. And people who thought Will Smith was not going to be good in the movie, the people who even hated said Will Smith was good in the movie. I think, and you brought up the casting, like Lion King. I was fine with some of the casting. I thought Donald Glover being Simba was a good choice. Obviously you got to bring back James Earl Jones. That was an obvious one, but I don't want to say it's because I love her. I thought Beyonce playing Nala wasn't the best idea, and it comes down she's not that strong of an actress. Not saying she can't act, but two, every time, and I said this 20 times, every time she spoke, all I heard was Beyonce's voice.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm big high regards on Lion King, so maybe kind of maybe feel looking for it. But I mean, I didn't hate the movie. You know, it got good feedback. You know what I'm saying it's gonna have good and bad feedback, but it got positive feedback from a lot of people. So I mean, it was good, but it's just like, you know, it's just hard not to compare them to the cartoon. Excuse me, the cartoon version, because when you see the cartoon version is so good. Like Lion King cartoon version is so good. It's just like, damn, like what are you gonna do? Like, how you gonna make it just like this? You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It just didn't feel. It just didn't feel what some people thought it was gonna feel. Like I said, I think reading Aladdin was so big. It's because it's people. So it's just like, you know, I think they should have had their hands on the Tarzan too, because the Tarzan movies weren't good at all. So it's like they should have had their hands on the Disney Tarzan, because if they remake the Tarzans, okay, you know, at least you got a human in there. You got a human, and maybe if they remade the live action, you could tell deeper into his story about how, you know, we know how his parents got killed and everything, but maybe you could show the scenes. Maybe you can get deeper into it. Like, hey, you know, this is what really went down here. So I mean, obviously, it's just iffy. I think it depends on how you feel about it, and I think you have to open your mind to it too. Because like my grandma, when we first went to see Lion King and everything, she didn't kind of understand it, because she was like, they're animals. Like, animals don't speak and everything. But like, I was like, it's a movie. Like, it's not supposed to be real life. That's the thing of it. It's not like there are plenty of movies that aren't realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like how many movies got dragons or unicorns in them? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like those aren't realistic. What about movies that have people and cartoon characters? That's not real. You talking to a green screen. That's not real at all. So you just gotta open your mind to it. That's what I try to do. And I rewatch it now since on Disney Plus, and I rewatch it. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I first thought it was, but it's just. I think if they're gonna do live action Disney movies, they need to be the first. Like, you can't have the cartoon behind it. So like, hey, this is the first. You know, if say if Frozen was never live action, like, hey, this is the first Frozen we're ever putting out. There's no cartoon to it. That way, people are like, oh, make a cartoon of it. Maybe this will be a little different.
Well, see, I agree. If you want to keep doing live action movies, fine. Do some original live action movies. I don't see this trend of like live action remakes ending, because, you know, they're making money, and the quality of the film, I mean, doesn't matter, because they're making a lot of money. I just think if you're gonna do them, don't do so many at once. Like last year in general, I think we had 3 or 4 last year alone. Like
last year what?
Last year we had Lion King, we had Aladdin. I think Lady Tramp came on Disney Plus, and Dumbo.
Beauty and the Beast too. Beauty and the Beast came out.
Beauty and the Beast was 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I forgot about Dumbo too. Dumbo did come out. I forgot about that one. So that was another one. Did they make a live action Snow White? I mean, another good one too. They haven't done that.
I think they're gonna do that, and I do not want them to do that one at all. The only thing that'd be clever if they did it, if it came out in 2037 to commemorate the 100th year anniversary. Oh, they also did Pete's Dragon, a remake of Pete's Dragon, which nobody saw, because that was probably a remake that didn't do well, because no one saw it, because no one liked the original. But yeah, they're gonna probably do a live action Snow White, and man,
how come you don't want to see it?
What, live action Snow White?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good.
It could be, and you know what, I've always said I don't go into movies hoping to not like it. It's like this, and we talk about this: how much Walt in the studio put their soul into the original, and if they don't do the same with a remake, then I'm gonna feel like it's kind of hurt. Not gonna say it's disrespecting the original, but it's kind of hurting it. Like we know what Walt went through to make that movie. If I don't feel like you putting in that same effort to bring, to make that film, I think that's kind of disrespectful in a way. Plus, we all know that film failed. We wouldn't be making this video right now.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I feel like somebody can be good because it's people. You know what I mean? And I think with the Doors, that could be entertaining. That could be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Snow White, that person that could be pretty good. They've already done Maleficent, so I feel like if they did a Snow White action, you got to have Angelina Jolie the Maleficent. I mean, because she's already did the movies, so I feel like people would want that, and it'll have star power to it too, because people know who she is. So it's like, okay, we know Angelina Jolie. We've seen her do Maleficent. She did a good job in Maleficent, and we know it's familiar. So I think if they did that would have to be it. Sleeping Beauty could be another one live action because it's like the people ones could be really good because they're live action ones. So it's like they've done a couple like Sword and Stone, but they named them like different. Like they did a movie called King Arthur a couple years ago, which was pretty good, a damn good movie. It wasn't Disney, but you knew it kind of had the concept. Okay, this is like Sword and Stone because you pull the sword out of the thing, I'm the king.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't forget. Also, they did a live action Cinderella in 2015, but that was pretty good. But and here's one that
101 Dalmatians too. They done that.
Well, that was back in like 2000. But here's one more thing I would say: if you're gonna do remakes, why don't you do remakes of movies that didn't do well? Why not do a remake of The Black Cauldron?
Like, you think people like that though?
I mean, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. I mean, you can't lose off more than you did with the original.
See, I don't know if people would see that. That's the thing. Like, they could do live action, like Pocahontas. It would be cool because I could do a live action Pocahontas. In fact, Notre Dame, I think that would be pretty good. And that's people live action. They did live action Emperor's New Groove. You know what I'm saying? That's a funny ass movie. That could be really entertaining. They pick the right people. I think sometimes when you do these, it has to be the right people for these roles. And not everybody's going to be the right person for those roles. But like we said, Will Smith was a good fit for the Robin Williams role because not only Will Smith knows how to act, but he was entertaining, and he's a box office name. So anything with his name on it is going to be Will Smith. Go see it, and let's go see it.
Yeah, and when Will Smith was cast as Genie, I said, you know what, that's probably who I would have cast too, because like you said, you gotta have that charisma to entertain, the ability to entertain, and let's be honest, there's not many people that bring that box office draw like Will Smith. But Disney does that even with their animated films. Like for example, in Moana, who they get to play Maui? The Rock, and there's probably not a bigger movie star in the world right now than The Rock.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty big. So I mean, let's hop into the new era, the era we're currently in right now. So, 2018 till now, they've only had 2 movies come out: Frozen 2 and Wreck-It Ralph 2. But another big part of this era is that John Lasseter is no longer part of the company now. He's left the company. So, what kind of effect or impact do you think that'll have? Do you think that it's going to hurt them this era, or do you think it could be positive?
I mean, you can't judge off 2 movies. I think it'll be fine. I mean, I think Jennifer Lee is the one who took over, who was taking over.
She's the first female to take over for animated stuff. Yeah.
See, she did Frozen and Frozen 2, and I love both of those movies. So I trust her with making movies, but making, just being filmmakers and running a whole company, 2 different things. But I don't think I'm not going to judge over after 2 movies, and one of which I didn't even see. I think if we're going to talk about the new era, which we don't have a name yet, we had to give it at least a few years before we really judge it, because Wreck-It Ralph 2 came out, which I didn't watch, and I've heard mixed things about it. Frozen 2 came out, which I thought was amazing. So we had to wait. But once again, those were both sequels. I'm waiting for an original, like, what's the next original film? The new, like, that's what I want to see. I think Soul, if that's not Pixar. But, I mean, with new management, we got to see. John Lasseter did a lot for Disney and Pixar too, for real. But you got to wait to see what happens.
So did he just go to Pixar, or did he do DreamWorks? I don't remember what he did.
I think Jeffrey Katzenberg did DreamWorks.
Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg created DreamWorks. So he go. I heard a rumor that he went and joined him in DreamWorks. I don't know if that's true or not. I could be wrong, but I heard a rumor that he went and joined him with DreamWorks.
They may have done a movie together. And maybe
I don't know how true that is though. That could be false though. I don't know that for sure.
Because I know John Lasseter was Pixar, so I don't know if he ever did something with DreamWorks too. Yeah, I don't think he did DreamWorks. He was only Pixar and Disney.
Okay. I could have swore I heard a rumor that he did go with DreamWorks, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
You might be thinking of Michael Eisner.
No, but I heard that John Lasseter, he left the company. He went and teamed up with the dude at DreamWorks, and they're working together for DreamWorks stuff. But I don't know if that's true or not though. That could be wrong. So I don't know.
Maybe it is true because he might have had it. But then he went to Pixar, and I think him coming to Disney and taking over really did help, because just because I brought this up with the post-Renaissance era, they didn't have any real direction, and with Lasseter they had a direction, and I think with Jennifer Lee we gotta see what her direction is gonna be. I trust her, but then again she's made 2 movies I really love, so you can say I'm biased. We gotta wait to see what movies Disney's gonna do.
I mean, so far, there has had good. Frozen 2 surpassed Frozen 1 for box office. The budget was 150 million, and the box office made 1.5 billion. So it surpassed Frozen. And the Lion King live action made 1.6 billion. So I mean, it started off and record revenue pretty good too in box office too. So they started off good in this era. They haven't done bad, but what I want to see in this era, I don't want to see a lot more sequels. I want to see new movies. I want to introduce new movies. I can't think of any other sequel. One sequel that I would like to see if they ever made one would be Tangled 2. If they ever came out with one. But if they don't do Tangled 2, then there's nothing really that would catch my eye if they made like a sequel. Like, obviously, you knew they were going to Frozen 2 because it's so successful. If they got to make Frozen 2 record, they're pretty good as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they made like a Moana 2, because that did pretty good. So they did that one. Zootopia 2, because they did pretty good. But
now that's actually. I was gonna say that Zootopia. I can see them probably doing a sequel. But the thing about doing a sequel is you actually have to have a reason to do one. Like Frozen 2, they actually had a legit. Like they said, they had an idea for Frozen 2 way back. So this isn't like they already knew where they wanted to go. But Tangled, it ended with good closure. So I think the problem with doing a sequel, one thing I hate when you just force a sequel just for money. And people try to say about Frozen 2, but then when you actually watch the movie, it was far from something they just forced. Like you can't just force like a sequel. And I do agree. Like right now, I don't want to see any sequels. I want to see Frozen 2 because I love the first one, and I just need to see how they would continue the story. And I think they did a damn good job of that. But after that, I don't want to see any more sequels. I really don't want to see any more remakes. I want to see some original stuff.
Yeah, come out with some new creative stuff. I mean, hopefully you can continue with Disney princess movies because those are so successful. So come up with some new princesses. They do live action movies, you know what I'm saying? Make it be original. Make a first of it, and you can get big actors for it. So like, if they wanted to do a live action movie, I don't know, like if they had a live action movie and they casted Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Okay, that's something that's gonna catch me because he's a good actor. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see it because Leonardo DiCaprio is a good actor and he's box office name. I mean, we already know they're coming out with Mulan, so that's gonna be part of it because Mulan's gonna be a remake, which will come out depending on whenever the pandemic is over with and everything, and everybody can go back out to being normal.
I mean, it did release in some country. I think it released in China already, but yeah, it didn't do good. It hasn't been doing good.
So hopefully, hopefully this era isn't because what bothers me is that I pay attention to is that we've seen like the gaps again. When an era does successful, the era after that doesn't do too good. And we just came off a very successful era in the revival era. So it started out good, but we've never seen two back-to-back eras that have been so successful. So my thing is that, if you're going to be very successful, I feel like, obviously some of the remakes will do very well. So that's going to be a bonus. But come up with new original stuff. Come up with some original content. Some new characters that haven't been introduced yet. Some new stories to tell for fans out there. And say like, even with the pandemic and everything, with Disney Plus now, say like, if they wanted to make a movie and it's like, hey, you know what, we're releasing it on Disney Plus, subscribe. It's going to put more subscribers to Disney Plus, so it's going to make more. Disney Plus is Disney, so it's going to make more money for them. So, but hey, Disney Plus, May 18th, we coming out with this, they can drop trailers, they can promote it and everything. And then Disney Plus, so I was like, you got to just subscribe to it and you can watch it right there. You have a premiere of it too. They can make a big premiere of it, like, hey, how like the movies is like have like the little films and everything too if you watch it live. So I mean, they can make something out of that.
Yeah, I mean, they did it before. I granted one with a new movie, but think about it. And I think I told you this. I'll send you a link about it. When they announced Frozen 2 was going to be on Disney Plus earlier than expected because of the pandemic, Disney Plus subscriptions raised. And well, granted, I'm using my cousin's subscription. I remember as soon as they announced it, I was happy because I hadn't been able to see it yet. I was able to watch it through Disney Plus. So yeah, that tactic does work. It does help, more subscribers, bring more subscribers to the network. But yeah, with the pandemic, they're not releasing anything like right now, and they shouldn't be. But yeah, like you said, if you're gonna make new films and you can't release them due to the pandemic, use Disney Plus to your advantage. Use streaming services.
Same for anything, it's like WWE when they have pay-per-views, you go to the network to watch them instead of paying pay-per-views. When Netflix comes out with new Netflix movies, go straight to Netflix. Hey, Netflix original movie starring Will Smith, on Netflix, May 6th, go watch it. oh bam, that's going to get more views right there. So be more creative, like they come up with original content. You know what I'm saying? They come up with original content for Disney Plus. They come out with their own TV shows, original shows. They come out with they're being creative because they want to be like Netflix in a way. But I think that could be a helpful way because people will still watch the movies at home. You got to leave, so it could be very helpful to everybody else. But as far as everything we want to see in this era, I think we've kind of touched on it. I mean, I just want to see. I just want to see a bunch of new content. I just want to see new stories, new characters developed. They do make sequels for some movies, okay, but it has to be the right movie. I'm saying like Tangle 2 would be cool for me. Zootopia, a good movie. That'll be all right. So those ones could stand out. I don't think there's any old movies that they can remake because they've already remade some. They've already made new movies to everything else. So there's nothing that really is the old ones that they could really make as a part two because they've already made them. And some of the part twos are terrible. So I think you just got to stay with the original content. You got to make something new, which they probably already have a lot of stuff that hasn't yet that we don't know about. But I think hopefully this era is good. How long do you think this era could last? Last era didn't last as long as some of the other eras. It seems like the last couple eras haven't lasted as long as Renaissance era lasted 10 years. Post-Renaissance lasted about 7 years, and then this era lasted about 2009 years. So yeah, how long? Because some of those eras we saw lasted over like 13 years. Some of them lasted 15 years. So how long do you think this era could last?
I'm gonna say about 8 years right now.
So 2008
to 10.
2026.
Yeah, I'd probably give it to around then. You never know because you never know what they're gonna do. All we know, they could just hit banger after banger like the Renaissance, and the era might go for 10 years. You never know.
All right, so this was our final part for the Disney Park series. We will be playing on a Pixar series as a kind of a bonus clip. We didn't want to include Pixar with Disney and everything, so we kind of wanted to make it separate. So we're going to probably do that sometimes next week. We'll touch on that, and then we'll probably have a couple other things we can do. We can do the era. We should do an era of Disney Channel. Disney is part of Disney too, so we can do an era of Disney Channel too, as far as from all the eras. We can touch on that too, which we'll have to time and do our research. But Pixar episode will come out sometime next week. We look at all the research and everything because it won't take long. But if you're a Disney fan, I suggest you research on a lot of these things. So it could be interesting to see some of the content you know. One of the things that stood out to me that I didn't know about, like I said, Snow White took 3 years to make. I didn't know that at all. I wasn't even aware of that. It's crazy. That was way bigger risk than anybody I think ever you knew. So, but you say any final things you want about some of your favorite things about Disney or why you're a fan, and then go ahead and plug in your stuff where people can subscribe to you and everything.
Well, I'm a Disney fan because I love their music. When the films are great, they're too good. They're too great. And it's always nice to sit with your family and watch a Disney movie because I know it's cliche to say, but Disney does bring you close to your family. My final thoughts, I would say I had to give this era a grade. It was short, but I'm gonna give it an 8, just like I gave the Silver Era, because I felt like they made some big hits and some very good movies, especially because of Frozen. My final grade rating was Renaissance, Silver, and Revival are tied. Golden, Wartime, Dark, and you know where to find me. YouTube, /Kyrin, Instagram, /_Kyrin, Tumblr, DeviantArt, Kyrin Chase. And I do videos on Wrestling, Sonic the Hedgehog, and My Little Pony Friends Magic. And Malik, I want to thank you for this because this was your idea, and I had a good time doing it.
Of course, so stay tuned for the bonus episode. We'll call it the bonus episode for the Pixar, and we'll also make a Disney Channel one for you guys, which will touch on different areas. We'll start from 2000 all the way up because that's on ones I really know, to be honest. So make sure you guys subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
Peace out.